Get them back on.
Yeah, we're
All right. 6 o'clock, call the meeting to order. It's a regular city council meeting Monday, February 9th. Roll call, Keith Warning,
present.
Bill Tomper,
Here.
Mike Netland,
Present.
Bill Hodge.
I do not have Bill yet.
Don't have Bill yet, Joe Johnson here. All right, we'll stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Item A under new business will be tabled at this point. We don't have everything back from legal yet. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Everyone. Second,
So.
Keith. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
On the same side. Agenda's approved. Okay, we have the public forum. There was one signature on the public forum. Janelle, did you want to speak during that or did you want to wait for the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't know it was in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. So we don't have anybody signed up for the public forum or correspondence. Brings us to the consent agenda. Any council members have anything in the consent agenda they wanted to pull for a specific vote?
The one I was kind of looking at was, line item F. Just the summary on the campground, expansion.
Okay.
And I don't know, is that something is that gonna be discussed at a workshop with, the Rec and Park, committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, this was just the preliminary numbers that we've got together so far, just kind of a informational.
okay, sounds good, Jody. I don't have anything else.
I do have one thing for the 26 special work session with Agreement Connection. Bill Hodge was present for the meeting, so I will just make sure that gets annotated.
So I'd look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Keith. Get a second.
Second.
Everyone. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Consent agenda is approved. All right, that'll bring us up to the public hearing. This is a public hearing. We ask that anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and direct all comments to the council as a whole. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes to ensure everyone has an opportunity to be heard. Please keep comments respectful and related to the matter before the council. Council will listen to all comments, but may not respond to individual questions during the hearing. Chris is here, and he's knows more about this project than any of the rest of us, obviously, because he's designed it. So do you want to go through your deal first here then, and then we'll have questions as they come up?
Sounds real good. Yep. So hi, my name is Chris Thorson. I'm with Alteg Engineers, acting on behalf of the city as their city engineer. I believe everybody has a handout. We'll go through the handout. It's got the agenda for us tonight. You discuss the project and look at all the costs and what's involved. You'll see the agenda highlighted there.
Bill's here.
I won't read everything in the agenda, but we'll touch on the high points. So starting with the purpose of the public hearing tonight, is to inform the property owners of the proposed project that the city has at hand. We follow the Minnesota statute 429 procedure for assessing the improvements to the public. That includes having a preliminary engineering report done, holding this public hearing. From there, we go into design and construction for a bid letting on the project. After that, we would have a final assessment hearing and project construction. And so the main purpose also tonight is to gain the input, your comments, your questions from the public tonight too. All right, the next page shows a map, fairly large area of the city, kind of spread out, pieces here and there, so it's color coded.
We have extra chairs for these people standing on them that maybe we could put back there.
Now we're out of chairs, so.
Yeah, we have two chairs.
Maybe we can invite them in before.
There is a couple more chairs.
Really just speak up so we can hear you out here. That'd be-
Yep. So again, looking at the project areas, everything's color coded as far as what the construction would consist of. You'll see we have marked out, starting in blue. That indicates out on the edge of town, Highway 87, there's an old water main, so we're replacing that. In yellow, those are the areas where we do have water, sewer, street replacement. The orange thinner line, those are areas of sanitary sewer that we are going to do a cast in place pipe method on. And the last one shown there in red is the beach area parking lot. So those are the project areas. The next page lists all those project areas. Of course, I'm not going to read them off, but they are in the map, and you're here, so you probably know which street you live on and how you're impacted. From there, we'll turn the page and get into the project needs. We're going to start with the sanitary sewer that's involved in the construction. So what the city's looking at currently, segments of the city's original pipe network for the sewer system that was put in place. It's over 70 years old. It is experiencing multiple deficiencies as far as pipe sags, cracked and failing pipe, root intrusion and mineral buildup, and infiltration and inflow. Pictures off to the side show, separated joints where tree roots get in and cause havoc to the city utility crews. They have to go and clean out and so forth, plug up. The next page, we talk about the water main replacement for the project. Segments of the city's original water distribution system installed back in the 50s. So we're over 70 years old with the old cast iron pipe. Problems with cast iron pipe, it wasn't buried deep enough in some cases. Its age is probably the major thing as far as breaks, and the city having to go out and fix those breaks and so forth. Tied to that, the cast iron pipes are in the street, but every house or business has a service line that goes from that bigger pipe in the street to your home, your business. A lot of those are also 70 years old. Most of them are copper from what we've seen, but those would be replaced along with the water distribution system. The next page.
Just to be clear on that, that goes to the shut off.
Yes.
The curb stop.
Yep. Just for clarification, for a water service going to a home or a business, it would go from the pipe out in the street, feeding that service line, from that pipe into the property line, just up to the property line. From the property line to the building is the responsibility of the homeowner or business owner.
Yeah, it's gonna be connected up. Anyway, you'll connect it together.
Yeah, we'll connect it together, yeah. Whatever pipe's in place, we'll connect it back up to that. If you have problems from that curb stop, your property line area to the house, then that's, your own responsibility.
How will we know that? We just have to hire someone to look at it? Or you guys look at it?
You'll already have a problem. You'd have really low water pressure if you have a break in that pipe. That would be the first indication.
Okay.
Okay, the next is, project needs for the street pavement. What we see with the streets, general pavement distress. The streets are in excess of 40 years in age. Cracking, potholes, and increased yearly maintenance efforts. Also alongside the streets, there's storm sewer and drainage issues, poor drainage here and there. Water quality would be what we want to look at around the Spirit Lake area, so we can control that stormwater runoff to the lake. So a typical street pavement, they say lasts about 20 years before you start having issues. Menahga, you guys are blessed. You got really good sandy soils below. That helps drain any runoff. It doesn't sit in the roadbed and eat away at the roadbed, so that the runoff gets away from the street structure. And I know you've had some streets in place probably for 50 plus years that they're still drivable. They're a little rough, cause more maintenance, but so we say 20 years, but for Menahga, it's more like a good 35 to 40 years before you see too much of an impact on the streets failing. So. All right. So for ease of discussion, I broke the project into different project areas. We're going to start with the Northwest project area. That would be the streets of 2nd Street Northwest, Balsam Avenue, the alley behind the church.
Which one?
The church,
Relate and Kathleen.
Both of them?
both of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'd be everything on that side of Highway 71. Well, then the next sheet, that'll show what we're looking at for the road paving. So these areas, the road paving shown in black. We do have a small area of curb and gutter by the funeral home that will go back in, along with the sidewalk in front of the funeral home too. So we're not doing full curb and gutter on these streets. There's no streets around them to tie curb and gutter into, so it's, we'll go back to what we call a rural street section instead of an urban street section with curb and gutter. All right, the next project area is the northeast area. So that's basically right out front of City Hall here. Down to Cedar, also including Cedar. So here you can see we've got both the greens and the blues for the sewer and the water replacement, along with the orange for the pipelining project. Now these streets will receive curb and gutter, so if you turn the page, see the layout, preliminary layout for the street sections. For the majority of it, we're keeping the streets skinny, as they are now, somewhat coming up from the highway. Otherwise, in front of City Hall, we're going to put in parking lane. So that aids with parking around the City Hall area, the fire station. and so forth. So that will have curb and gutter. No sidewalk is anticipated in this area. Next segment is the water main along Highway 87. And that's located between Fir Avenue and Juniper Avenue. The water main sits off to the one side of the roadway, just as it's shown there. We're replacing the water main along with the services to both sides of the roadway, houses on both sides of the roadway.
Is that gonna have to be trenched in through those driveways?
We,
Or are they gonna blow it up?
we're gonna give the contractor the option to bore it. Yep. It's less disruptive that way to bore the pipe rather than open trench it through the ditch down there. It's easier for us to deal with MnDOT and what they require for detours and traffic safety along there too, so. And then any
More
service,
expensive than digging that out.
what's that?
Isn't the boring quite a bit more expensive than digging it out?
Not really, no, they've come a long way. We've seen efficiencies now with the boring being very comparable. Especially in this case, when we're dealing with a state highway and having either closures or traffic detours set up or what have you at the state, so.
You have a difference in the cost of that?
Not offhand, it depends on size and so forth, and
It
it also depends on,
the water line, the main line that I'm talking about right now. You have a cost for that, digging it or boring it, and you get a cost for that?
I can, yep,
Okay.
yep, I don't have it at my fingertips.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay. All right, from there we go to the southwest area along the lake. Balsam Avenue, First and Second Street. So you can see the majority of the area there has replacement of the water and sanitary sewer. And then the next page shows the street layout. So again, looking at keeping the streets fairly skinny, we're not going to put in a 44-foot wide street if we don't have to. Some areas we have to. We want to see parking, especially in the beach area, event area down by the lake, commercial area that you have with the VFW and the lumberyard, and so forth. So we do have parking lanes shown on the other side of the white lines. Some areas. You can see that there is a sidewalk network now that would go from Main Street at the corner of where First touches Main there, along the lake area, boat landing, and continues on over to the beach parking area. Also continues down to the connection at Highway 71 across from the school. And then also sidewalks on one side of Balsam coming down from Highway 87 to that same corner First, and sidewalks along the parking areas on First Street in front of the church and the VFW.
Most of this has curb too, correct?
Yes, yeah, this
Stormwater.
area has curb and gutter, full curb and gutter to control that stormwater runoff. We also tie into the curb and gutter sections on both highways on either side of the project. And curb and gutter around the beach parking area too.
I have kind of a silly question. Where do the boaters park with their trailers? Usually they would just pull off into the grass there.
Yep, there is a parking lane along that.
Oh, that's a parking lane there.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see the yellow line is the center line of the roadway.
Okay,
And then if you see a white line,
okay.
that would be the parking area beyond that.
Is that taking out the trees on both sides of that road? All the trees?
Not all the trees.
What about on the lakeside?
On the lakeside, we're trying to limit that, of course. There is that grove of pines up at the top of the hill. I'll call it the top of the hill. That has to go because of the sewer lines right close to it in proximity for trenching that in.
Those are 4 trees there, wasn't it?
I think at least 4, probably more like 6.
On the lakeside,
Yeah, the pine trees on that side.
in addition to all the trees on the north?
Not all the trees. We're trying to save as many trees as we can through the project design. But the water main has to go in. And then if you look at all those homes, their service lines going to the property from the pipe out in the street goes under a lot of those trees. So that's the reason that a lot of trees have to be lost.
But the road, just to be clear, because we have an email on it, the road is not moving any closer to the houses.
Nope, nope. The new curb line will sit approximately where the edge of the asphalt sits up there on the house side of the street.
Well, the sidewalk will be removed where it is now.
The sidewalk, the small sidewalk on the home side of the street
Right.
would be removed, yep.
Oh, okay. And how far is that street gonna go then? Where the sidewalk was?
Nope, nope. Where the edge of the asphalt is now.
Yeah.
Where the curb line will sit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got
So we're not moving the street any closer to the homes.
it.
We realize, the front yard is your front yard. You don't want to lose any more of the green space you already have out there. So I'll keep in mind, the edge of the asphalt varies a little bit, curves around. We're trying to strike a straight line or a new street. So, it could vary a foot or so, but that's about it.
Chris, Chris, I have a question for you. On that, lakeside curbing, is that gonna be a slope curb where you can drive up and over, or is that gonna be the sharper abutment where you won't be able to drive up and over it?
That's going to be the drive over style. So between the parking lane and the sidewalk on the lakeside, that's going to be a drive over style curb. The city's looking at that because the fact of when you have fireworks out there, everybody pulls and points their cars that direction towards the lake to watch. So you'll still be able to pull up onto the sidewalk, still view that direction for the fireworks.
How wide is that supposed to be then? I mean, 4 feet or how wide or what? How wide is that gonna be then, that pull off there? From the road?
From the road, instead of parking in that parking lane where it sits, you would actually pull everybody in perpendicular for that one event and have them line up that way. So
You have to do lakeside, do you have to raise anything up on lakeside for any of that, to level any of that out, or? You know what I mean?
raise anything up on the lakeside, the natural ground,
Yeah.
very, very minimal, just to tie in here and there. There is fluctuation in that terrain, so we do have to, slope some areas, but we won't be getting down into the lake edge or anything like that.
I think people are gonna get confused. Cause you can have people parking parallel like it's designed, and then other people wanting to go perpendicular. It's gonna be a zoo.
It would only be for
It's just.
the big events that
If somebody's out there directing traffic,
going down.
cause you'll get people not wanting to
They'll get,
break the rules.
they'll get that.
There'll be signing, there'll be probably some people directing traffic, I don't know, but probably gonna be necessary for those events.
Well, I'm just saying, it's already a mess in a zoo, so it's just gonna complicate it.
Get some more fun, eh?
No, I have a question on Balsam though. How wide is that street currently?
Balsam?
Yep.
Well, it varies.
Well, yeah, maybe by 12 inches, but not 2 feet.
Right now, it's about 20.
Which,
24.
The Balsam going,
So what this part
yep,
remained,
Or 87 down to First.
Is that section there? Yeah, I'm thinking Ron's right. It's around 24 feet wide.
So you're proposing 36?
Yeah.
And that goes into just the yards on the east?
No. No, it would,
The center line of the street will stay the same. It'll split both ways, right?
it varies.
Pretty close.
You know, one side gets a little bit more than the other side because you do have the parking off to the one side. And just the proximity of how we have to tie into the highway at the existing curb way up that the highway has up there. But as far as much of the street moving closer to the homes, no, it's mainly the sidewalk that you see on that side, on the east side of the street. Would be closer to the homes. Exist now.
No, correct, that's what I am, with the width and the sidewalk is, I'm just wondering how close it is gonna be coming to the absorbing the yard.
Yeah, there is some in that area just because of that sidewalk.
Would be 4 feet off the road more compared to what it is now. You got the edge of the road, so it'll probably be about 4 feet more to the east. 'Cause it'll be a 6 foot sidewalk, but they're gonna split the difference of where that road is.
Yeah, we're not trying to push it fully one way or the other, but centering it the best we can within the existing right of way. And then again, tying into the opening up at the Highway 87.
And that will be a sharp curve or a,
That'll be a 4 inch high curve. Not a 6 inch high curve, normal curve, but it's gonna be a 4 inch high curve.
so there'll be the parking lane and then the sidewalk?
Yep. I would go into estimate project costs.
Before we move on, Chris, I had a question related to the Kirby property, which sits directly south of the lumberyard.
Yeah.
It was brought to my attention, based on the parking area and the, concrete sidewalk will be running on the south side of that street there. Now, the owner of the property said that they're gonna be losing, one of their access points onto their property. Is that true or not?
Right here, Chris.
That was true, but now it is not. You know, I talked to Jensine about it earlier and I had my notes saying that she just needed the one driveway opening. But now hearing that she needs both, we'll get those back in. We'll have the second one back in there. With doing that, we really strike down the amount of parking we can have in that parking area. So we're actually going to skinny that street up and not have parking on her side because we'd only have spots available for 2 cars with that change. So I brought a layout along Derwin that I'll have here at City Hall for you so you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if it wouldn't be worth keeping those 2 parking spots, for even if it's only 2,
Well, we can,
you know what I mean?
we can talk about it.
That's a pretty high traffic area there.
Yeah, definitely look at that design issue and finalize that for the plans.
Yeah, I think with the amount of employees that are now using that office complex, and then if they have customers needing to stop in and visit, I know there's parking on the east side and on the south side of that structure, but I think it's Curdy's hope that they can maintain some parking, like Jody just said, on between them and the lumberyard.
Don't they have plenty of property already there, parking? Like more.
What's that?
Don't they have plenty of parking right there right now? They've got more than everybody.
Well, this would also be for the lumberyard. It's open street,
That's what I
so
mean.
the
So why
lumberyard
don't you just
people
set
can
it up
park
so
there too.
everybody's usable?
Yeah, yeah, it's not restricted to just that building. It's a public street, so if the lumberyard guys park there, they're welcome to park there.
Yeah.
I got a question, if I could. Just to the north of the lumberyard and south of VFW Club, I noticed that the parking there is coming way out into the street. Is that curb and gutter right there, the red and white?
That's sidewalk and it would have a curb there, yes.
Okay, well, there's vehicles that are pulling up right to the building, right to my building right now. Is that gonna be on my property? Those parking spots?
No, this is all in the right of way. Everything that's on these plans are in
It's
the,
on the right of way.
it's on the.
So that curb and gutter is gonna be right close to the building.
It's this one here. Where we added all that, those parking spaces.
Oh, right there. Yes, the sidewalk will be,
Right close to the
Right-
building,
right
right up,
close to the
right
building.
up to the building.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the curb will be,
6 feet out.
okay. So that's where the property line is?
Yeah,
Easement?
that's still central business district, so you can build right up to your property line.
Okay.
There's no setbacks. It's right on the line.
There is a driveway there. Is there gonna be access to that driveway? To the west of the building? Doesn't show like there is, but
I haven't noticed one there.
Yeah.
Right, if you look,
You're right.
it's right between the building and that tree there. No doubt. If you're right in here, there's a driveway right there.
Oh, okay.
Be right there. It's the driveway.
We'll make sure there's still access for that then.
Yeah, it's really what.
Yeah, you gotta have
A
it.
couple spots there.
It's just the gravel.
Yeah.
It's real.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Never noticed it. Anything else before we jump into the costs?
I have a question on the churches that are concerned. So churches don't pay property tax, therefore I presume they're not paying assessments. So how is that allocated?
They do pay assessments.
They do assessments?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, estimated project costs, we've broken it down into different project components. You can see the sanitary sewer. Under that, we have the sanitary sewer service lines. Those are all to the individual properties, individual homes. And we have the water main, water service lines again. Then we have street and storm drainage. So the total estimated project cost is just under $4 million. Talking about project financing. So the proposed project will be financed through a combination of the following. Pay all portions of reconstruction costs with an ad valorem, city tax funds, reserves, or other such funds which may be appropriate and available to the city. Pay all or portions of the project costs through special assessments of all properties which have contributed to the inadequacy of the original project and or which are benefited by the project. Increase user rates and require payment from the utility revenues generated to offset the bonded financial debt. And levy and I should have really practiced this word, valorem tax to pay all or a portion of the city's share of any project or use such other funds as may be available to the city of Menahga. And then the last one there is the Public Facilities Authority. So the city has applied to that funding agency for funding assistance on the sanitary sewer and water main portions of the project. PFA funding for the water main only is available for the project. PFA funding for improvement projects come in the form of low interest 20-year loans and possible grant principal forgiveness. Typical interest rates range from 1% to 3% on their loans.
On the PFA for the water mains, is that for all the different water mains or is it just for that one section, old pipe?
That's for all the water mains being replaced. And the nice thing they do is they realize that we have to tear up the street to replace that pipe underneath. So the funding also helps pay for part of the street pavement that has to be put back in place. They won't pay for curb and gutter. We grant the loans for curb and gutter if there wasn't already curb and gutter there. So that was, yeah,
When you said levy and ad valorem tax, what is that?
do you have any?
So that was, that would be if the city proposed a levy. It goes on your taxes, just like our normal levy that we do for city operations. It would be like adding to that.
So levy just on your taxes. It's not something we pay up for.
Where it says, increase utility rates and required payment from the utility revenues, you taking it that's the water bill?
Yes.
That should be fine.
Again, this statement, everything you see here is directly from the city's assessment policy. We're not saying that all of these are going to be used on the project. It's just that the city can look at these for projects and assessments.
So the city's applied for this PFA funding assistance. What is the anticipated turnaround for getting an answer to getting a response?
So with the PFA funding, we have to go through project design and taking bids, construction bids, then submitting those dollar amounts and cost splits to the PFA. And then they get back to the city with a determination as far as what the city may look forward to as far as a loan amount and a grant amount of that piece.
When do you guys want to do this work? When do they want to get out of town?
This one,
It would be in the spring. But we've been trying to get this project on the books for 4 years now,
pretty close, yeah.
3 to 4 years. And we never had funding and we never had funding. They wouldn't fund anything. This is the first time that we finally heard that, hey, we'll help you with some funding. We don't know how much yet.
So they will fund.
They will help
Now
fund.
that the city is getting together now.
Right. We just won't know what that amount's gonna be until the bids are in and we send that to them. This is the project cost. Then they'll say, we'll help you with X amount. We'll give you a loan for X amount.
State
It's a
office?
state.
That'll be fun.
We have a very good working relationship.
What was that?
We have a very good working relationship with
I'm
them.
glad to hear that.
So they have quite the process. So we know how to do it. Yes.
So you indicated that very likely you won't be using all of these. Do you have a sense of which of these funding mechanisms you would necessarily have to use to pay for this?
Well, I would say the PFA funding for the water main, assessing properties for the improvements. That's been what's been done in the past on past projects, and that's what the city has an assessment policy in place for. From there, I don't know, Brett, if you want to shed some insight on other funds.
Yeah, I mean, the city does have funding that, they can contribute. That's not my decision to make. That'll be the council's decision. And, I mean, frankly, we'll know more once we hear back from PFA of how much they're going to fund the project.
How much funding does the city have that's sitting there waiting to be used?
If you want to come in and talk to me, I will tell you everything you want to know. It would just take a really long time for her to do it right now.
That's kind of cool.
On the next page, there is some breakdown as far as what the city will be paying for sure.
Look ahead at what instead, you're saying that even build by April, begin construction in April or May. Do you have faith when they respond that fast?
I hope so. Yep.
What's that?
Yeah, once they get the numbers from the bids.
Well, because we're we're on their list at least. It took us this long to get on their list, to move far enough up their list where they would help us. So once you're on that list, at least then it doesn't take 6 months to get an answer because we're partially pre-approved kind of. It's kind of one way to look at it.
Any idea on percentage at all, what they might kick in? Any idea?
I don't know.
It all depends on their formulas at the time. And
Okay.
if they have a lot of money, and, you know, there's variables that go into their determination. Everything from monthly household income and such. So it's,
So is this timeframe gonna give some of the, I mean, you're gonna have people like, I can think of some of the people that live in the area where there's a lot of work that's going to be happening and their assessment's gonna be higher than others. And, you know, maybe they're elderly. So the assessment has to guarantee that you're going to be able to sell your home for that, or the market value is going to increase by that amount as well. So some of these people probably can hardly come, you know, pay their property taxes as is. And I know there's a loan, but the loans have interest and, you know, it's sitting out there hanging over these people's heads. And it's just like, what can we do for some of these people that just cannot absorb any more costs, anything from any angle? I mean, what do we do?
And for
Right.
You will?
Yeah. But I mean, where there is people that are just gonna like, I mean, we're gonna cripple them. They're already crippled.
Well, that's what the city
financially.
kind of has to try and look at a little bit, right?
Right, and that's one of the problems with any project like this, any city project,
Right.
is we all know what our demographic is here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we all know, we're all well aware. But at the same time, we can't let our sewer line that's 70 years old completely fall apart.
Correct, but I just wonder, how can we help these people? Because giving them
Right.
assessing them interest on a loan, I mean, that doesn't help them at all.
That's why we haven't tried to do any of these projects until we get something, we get some help from
Sure,
the state,
sure,
which is still our money. It came out of our pocket in the first
exactly,
place.
exactly.
Let's talk about assessing interest on a loan. Does that mean everybody here's got to take out a loan?
No, so you're
So the
more,
city
you're
can
more aware of
assess
that,
the-
how it works.
you're right. As far as the assessment process, the assessments for a project would go on to your taxes, your annual taxes that are paid. Usually the assessment is set for a 12, 15, even up to 20-year payback period. So, you know, the city does have that decision to make as far as how many years they set that term at for that payback.
Or free water for 20 years, something like that. Just on that out there.
So yeah, the next sheet, assessment cost sharing. This is per the city's assessment policy. We can see the varying items on the sheet here. So if you look at sanitary sewer and water main, the assessable cost is 100%. The city pays 0. Again, that's per the assessment policy. City can make decisions along the way and take that down.
But that's where that PFA funding is gonna help.
That's right.
I got a lot of these.
So otherwise, the assessable, what you're talking about, that's where the homeowner can be charged for the front of their property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the city isn't.
So do we have any say in like the concrete curbing would be assessed to the homeowners at 100%? Like, do we have any say, like, do we have to have a curb and a sidewalk? You know, going along, I'm just thinking the east side of that Balsam, there's not one now. I mean, is this just a one and done or what's?
So what we're considering, I'll call it the lake area. Everything in that southwest picture that we showed on Balsam, first, second, everything in that quadrant of town. You'll see it in the numbers that we're going to get into. The city does pick up a share of those improvements for that stormwater drainage by having the curb in place. They'll be picking up sidewalk improvements. Because if you look at that area, that's something that's used directly by everybody in town, or even visitors. So, they do have a share of those improvements in that area.
So if you get PFA money, how do you decide how to allocate it? Do you allocate it all to the city, or do you give some of us homeowners a percentage of that money and then the city takes some? How do you spread that out, if it's even spread out at all?
The city will have to look at those numbers.
Okay.
And make that determination.
Okay,
But normally I've seen it go towards the assessment
Okay.
amount,
okay.
to lower that as much as possible. So yeah, you can see the last item there on that table, city beach area improvements,
Do you have something?
connecting the
Hang on.
walking paths.
Yeah, I Googled, cost sharing on the city projects for curb and gutter, sewer, and water. Why does it say that cost sharing, property owners frequently pay between 30% and 50% of the total project cost?
Is that on the Menahga website?
Pardon?
Is that on the Menahga website?
What's any city?
Every city's different.
Oh, if the city wants the homeowners to pay 100%, they pay 100%.
Every city's got their own policy. So that, Google does an average, I would imagine. Anytime you Google something, it's generally an average.
So isn't this where it has the 100%? Then if we get funding, like you said, it could go towards that and lower that 100% possibly. If the city chooses to put the funding towards the project.
And that's why we wait to be able to get these funds so we can assess less.
Right, so that would be like what he's saying.
Right, we don't know what the final percentage
Yes.
was up until we know what we're gonna get. And we don't know what we're gonna get until the bids are in and we get a real total on the project.
How were you able to come up with these costs without the bids? I guess engineers know that stuff, right?
Just,
Yeah.
best guess.
Um,
Just knowing the industry, knowing what we've seen on past bids, knowing the complexities of what this project has.
Okay.
Which one of the blessings again is we're working in nice sand. We don't have groundwater issues. Groundwater is about 30 feet down, so we'll never touch that. So it's incredible material to work on. Contractors like that and are building the project, and that helps. Yeah, I wanted to point out the last item on the table, city beach area improvements, so connecting the walking path with lighting. So having street lights for the walking path along in that beach area. Parking area paving, so that's at the beach itself. Boat launch staging area and also stormwater treatment, which includes having curb and gutter. The next table gets even more interesting. There's more of a breakdown as far as what's accessible, what the city's picking up, and the totals. You'll notice I have a snafu. The total number doesn't match up to what it should. I'm about 44 grand off because the alley paving, I forgot to add in up above, so. So it should be that 3,985,000 for the total.
How many bids do you generally get when you do
Some in that range. It's an attractive project, maybe 6, 7.
Are you concerned about the fact that you might not be able to get on a schedule with legal work at this time?
That can always be a concern.
Yeah, I would think,
You
yeah.
know, we take
Get out
bids and
really
we hope to
fast.
have a good 2 at least and see what we get. So, next table, summary of estimating assessments. More costs. I'm not going to go through all these numbers. You guys would be bored. But there's the cost off to the right-hand side, the right-hand column, cost per unit. Just so you know, FF means front foot. Front foot means if you have a 50-foot lot, you have 50 feet of front footage against the street. So we have to cut those out because the next examples. There's 1 through 7 examples. I'll start with the first one, so you can kind of see how they read. I will not go through all 7. I'll let you do that on the sheet and find your street that you live on. So if we look at example number 1, the northwest area, we just have sanitary sewer and then reconstructing the street after that's dug in. If we look at, on typical, a 75-foot wide lot, so 75 feet of front footage. You can see the unit prices for sanitary sewer, what the cost of putting in this new sewer service line for your house would be, again, up to your property line. And then also the street reconstruction, so total of $14,116.50.
I got a question for you. Yeah, so I live on the corner next to Cottonwood.
Yep.
All my sewer and water's on Cottonwood.
Yep.
So then I could just be the
You've already been assessed for the project back in 2013.
Yep.
With that piece, so.
Yep.
You won't be assessed for water and sewer, just the street.
Just on eight.
Front. Yep. So we make sure to look at any properties that sit on a corner like that.
Right.
And if you've had improvements on one side, we make sure that you're not, double charged.
Right.
Yeah, they tried that on me once.
We tried.
So I did, just so everybody knows, I've had this. I had on First Street when they redid it, I was making $14 an hour. We had a $22,000 assessment. A few years later, they did Elm. I got another assessment on Elm. Now where I live, I want to be assessed on this project. So this will be my 3rd time around with these assessments. So I understand, people not liking them, but gotta have infrastructure. You can't let things fall apart. But so just so you know, you guys ain't alone. I'm getting assessed on this one too.
I want to know where you're moving next.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Jody brought up with, some history. The city has had projects, past 30 years, the city's been pretty involved in redoing all the old cast iron, the old clay tile sewers. We're down to 2 big projects left. So this is one. And then in 2028, when the state comes through with improvements on Highway 71, we have to replace the water, or excuse me, some pieces of water main, but mostly the sanitary sewer under the highway. So and that'll be the last big project that'll fix all the pipe underground.
I thought they were coming in a lot sooner than 2028, but I guess that's not so far away. Yeah,
Everything got pushed back.
okay,
So now it's scheduled
okay.
for 28 at this point.
What if, I know this isn't the right meeting, but are they gonna widen that highway?
There'll be a lot of changes to it. Not necessarily wider, but there'll be different lanes and there'll be a roundabout. There'll be many different things in that.
Hi, I'm on Second Street Northwest on the corner and Dogwood. So are they doing anything on Dogwood? Will I be assessed for both ways?
Nope.
Just Second Street Northwest out front.
That's correct.
So real quick, you've got this water main that's being done at 87. So why is it only just that section that's being done? Was it no good prior to it and after, or?
It's old cast iron pipe from the 50s or 60s when that was put in.
But it's not failing at the moment, so my question.
But it's undersized. It's only a 6-inch. It ties into a 10-inch closer to town, so, and then also going on the other side of this 6 inches, an 8-inch going further out of town.
Oh, so it's 8 inch bigger on the other side of the 6 inch?
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. So it's a bottleneck also.
So. Yeah, so I bought a property that's right next to the one, and I live across the street. Does that mean I'm assessed with local?
Depending on where your house water line comes from.
You probably,
Right there.
you probably feed off both, but Ethel's, I think they did the sewer line to Ethel's house. I don't know if they did the water line. I think that water line starts right after your service, if I remember right. Don't quote me, but
Okay.
When Ethel lived there, I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not sure if that's where it starts or.
So it'll depend on where your service connects. But your one across the road most likely connects to that.
Look who it was. Yours was done previous project.
That's what I thought, the one,
Right,
for the
okay.
one house, but on the other side also,
Other side,
Lakeside, is that?
Well, the lakeside would be, that house would be closer to town, so
So the
Lakeside one was previous, the one he just,
that one hasn't been done yet.
that one hasn't been done yet, would be this project.
Anytime.
With that, I think we can open it up to questions.
Example two, please. Example two.
Example two.
Are you not replacing the water main there?
Example two, Northwest area water main, sanitary sewer and street reconstruction. So that's, that would be the segment of Second going from Balsam to Highway 71. So in front of the funeral home, you're going to the corner of Balsam before you turn south. I should have stated that a little better on here. So yes, the water main is being replaced on that segment.
This gonna help the water stop being yellow. I'm not talking about the toilet, the sink. Yes or no?
Well, so Derwin has issues with his,
I know.
because it comes through that old cast iron,
And that's what we're presuming it's from.
we believe.
Yeah.
So Derwin, if you're still yellow, it's because you didn't get it done in front of your house.
Well, what the problem with that pipe is there's, things sloughing off that are feeding into the water that's pushing further west on Highway 87. And I'm impacted by it, but there's other people down the line that are having the same issues. We're getting infiltration of, particulates, we're getting iron, we're getting all kinds of stuff. I've got a pre-filter that comes right off the service that comes off the main. And I'm having to change that filter out and flush it, probably every 4 to 5 weeks. So there's a significant impact on everybody further west as we go out of town that are that's on the lakeside. I don't know if anybody that's right on that main, like, Jody, where, Steve Lemus used to live, is there any issues there with that water? Do you, that you're aware of?
I'm not aware, I haven't drank any water over there, but no, I don't know. Steve never mentioned anything about it.
So another benefit of replacing that smaller 6-inch main with a 10-inch main, there's more flushing capability in that end of the system with that bigger pipe.
That makes sense. You're saying it actually goes from like a 10-inch down to a 6-inch back to an 8-inch?
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. So now you got sediment that's right past the 6-inch.
Yeah.
Sits there and doesn't flow unless it's
Sorry to flush that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah.
I think he had a question there.
Question over here?
Yeah, is there a difference between the inline sewer work and the sanitary sewer line reconstruction? I don't see that in any of your examples here.
It's fairly close to the same cost. But what we're looking at with that being so similar in cost is the benefit for the property is the same. You know, it's replacing and upgrading the pipe. So that's the benefit.
We don't, so we can do it.
Right.
That would be going in the alleys.
Yes.
So it'd be right between the Catholic church and then the memorial garden or the park there.
We're looking at, I know Ron brought up an issue with one of those lines tonight. We gotta look at the televising, the pipe televising. That shows a pretty good sag in there, so, you know, if it's got sags in the pipe, you can't really just go in and, you know, line it and call it good, so we got maybe a bigger issue there we have to look at.
So you might have to replace some sections.
We're gonna have to replace some sections and get in there more invasive, so. But we'll look into that. We're reviewing the pipe sewer network and keep everybody pleased.
What's the plan for by the lake as far as having access to the houses during the project? So on Balsam, there's Balsam Southwest.
Mhm.
There's 14 Balsam, which is between 87 and then First Street. And the only way to get into that house, so when it's torn up, when they're doing the, is this gonna be like a 1-day project?
Mhm.
How do we get to the house?
Contractor's gonna work with you. We specify in the contract with them that they are to inform the public when you're gonna be blocked out of your driveway. So if they're trenching a pipe that day in front of your driveway and you need to get out, they're gonna let you know in advance. So you can plan for that and park around the corner or at your neighbors or what have you.
Well, they'd be Highway 87 or Highway 71, because are you tearing up that whole thing at one time, that this whole section?
It'll first and sanitary sewer second.
So you won't be able to cross over when the water.
Not 2 months, but it will be a process of phasing.
So we have to communicate with each contractor, the sewer,
Mainly with me
you're, okay,
and the contractor. Well,
like the one contractor that's,
the one contractor, the general contractor, will make sure that he lets everybody know those operations for the.
my only point is that we have 2 Airbnbs right next to each other. So we have multiple people coming all summer.
Okay.
So how do we tell our guests that they have to park? You have a shuttle service? And we're booked. We are booked for the summer.
So I know generally when they do these projects, they'll do, as they do that water line, they're backfilling it right away. So they'll put the water line in, they'll get the hookup to the house, it'll be backfilled.
Okay, that's
So
kind of what I'm kind of hoping that
It's not great, I mean, you're gonna be
Yeah,
driving
yeah.
on sand and whatnot, but
at least you can
you
get.
won't be out of your house.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
They move along in sections, and they're pretty quick.
They're pretty quick. The pipe work is
Yeah.
one, concrete curb, driveways going in, sidewalk. That needs time to cure before you can drive on it, so that's more of a, pour it 1 day, wait 3 days for it to cure, so there is more of a wait on that. But again, the contractor will work with you as far as those dates coming up.
Right, I was gonna say, if you kind of know the dates, then,
They don't know it very far in advance.
yeah.
They may know 1 week and it could change the next, but they're gonna try their best.
I think weather plays a role.
Right.
There's a lot of variables in these.
You just didn't know who to call, whose number I need on hand.
This guy,
Good.
Right now.
I'll put in the key dial.
I get out of something.
Yeah.
What about if you have somebody that has it on a wheelchair and then you can't go very far from your house to wherever where you have access to come to your own property? That's gonna be an issue because there are some people that have that.
We'll make provisions for those people too. We'll work with the contractor. It'd be nice to give those addresses. If anybody knows them up front, so we can plan ahead.
And let you know,
If you could email Brett at the city,
And then he can pass it on.
that'd be very helpful for us.
I have another, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
on example 1, I have 140-foot, I have a double lot, so I will be assessed double that figure that's on there. That's their 75.
Yeah, you switch out to 75 with 140. Yep. So not quite double because you just have one sewer service line charge. But yeah, it's,
And then is Second Street Northwest going to be widened? Instead,
no, Second Street Northwest will stay at a 24-foot width.
Just that first section is gonna get widened a little, it's 20 feet right now, I believe. Right across the road there, that
Oh,
first
the
section.
first section,
Yeah,
yes.
that first section, I think is only 20 feet. But from Cottonwood down to Evergreen is already.
oh, that would stay the same.
Yep.
Okay. I was just wondering about if we were responsible for removing trees or, if you were gonna go. And the mailboxes, or should we
are we responsible for like?
We'll work with the postmaster as
Okay.
far as relocating them during the project
Okay.
to a bank and putting them back.
Okay.
Chris, I got a question for you.
Yes,
It's related to the trees that are sitting in the right of way along the lake shore there.
yeah.
Anything that's sitting in the right of way is at risk of being removed. But anything that's sitting outside of that right of way on the landowner's property, are they at risk of being taken out too, or we don't have the right to go in and take anything that's outside of the right of way? Is that correct?
That's correct. We'd work with the property owner if there is a special case, if there is a tree that has to come out. Say it's sitting right on the property line, but it's a big tree. And its root system is out where we're trenching. You know, cutting off roots of a major tree, we don't want to see something happen 2 years down the road where that tree dies and falls over, or the property owner now has to deal with that expense. So we'll work with the property owners to say, hey, this tree is right on the edge. Here's what we can do or can't do, so.
And then we walked that project in front of the lake with planning and zoning. Because I was adamant that I didn't want to lose any of those trees, because it's like the cutest little street in town. And what we found there was some of them, there's a tree 2 feet from their water feed on each side. Well, when we have to trench out to do that water to the property line, we're gonna be cutting the roots on both sides of that tree. And then the street is gonna cut it on the other side. That tree stands probably zero chance of living after that. So we take it out, it doesn't cost you anything. If we don't take it out and the roots all get cut and it's dead 2 years later, then it would be the homeowner that's responsible for taking it out. We would rather see it done with the project, even though we don't want to lose the trees. I'd rather take the tree out than watch it die for 5 years and the homeowner have to pay to take it out.
Plus risk it falling down on somebody.
That, to me, that's the saddest part of the project. It's losing that beautiful little walk there. So we do have the people that signed up. I don't know if everybody's already said their piece or if you'd like me to call on the people that signed up.
Yes, yes.
That way we make sure everybody's covered for them. Gabe and Mona? You good? Okay. Tom?
Just a question, back in the 2013 project, when they put in the draining to the lake on that second block, or up on the alley on down to Balsam, you know, they put them in backwards. They put the one uphill. The one that drains to the lake went uphill, but nobody paid, or nobody got it fixed. What if something happens on this one? Who's responsible for paying for getting it fixed? Should they do something wrong?
Engineer.
What happened? I'm not sure.
Which drain is that?
The one on the alley, right parallel to the alley behind the Catholic church that's being done, but on the other side of the road.
Oh, right behind Shell.
Yeah, right behind Shell. They put that one in uphill. So nothing drains into it, and that's the one that drains to the lake. The other one down at the other corner over in Balsam is a pool. There's a collecting pond, and that's where all the water's been going all these years.
Yeah, and it runs down to it and
Right.
washes the gravel
Everything
down
runs
to
down
it.
that way.
Yeah.
So if they make a mistake again, who pays for it? Or do we just ignore it like that project? And just let,
I'm not much for ignoring stuff if there's a problem.
So I got input on that area. So what's been happening is Balsam, all that water runs from the street up top.
Yep.
And just pours down that street to try to get to that culvert. Well, it's a leaching one. Well, we tied them together now.
oh, you should, okay.
So now it's tied in with the other one, so that water has a chance to decide to go into that other one and settle.
That's a leaching system there?
Right,
Okay.
but now it leaches through the whole, we put a drain pipe in there, so it has that section of 20 feet before it gets the other deep one. So now it does have an area to settle out.
Also with that project, you know, the bike lane went in that year. And could the mailboxes on the other side of the road would be pushed back a little further. Because every year since they plowed the road to where half of the bike lane is open, half it's not, and cars have been driving in the ditch up to 5 feet into the ditch at Balsam Avenue ever since in the wintertime.
We restriped that last year, right?
You reach, well,
To try to direct.
yeah, they restriped the middle of the road, which was helpful, but once the snow comes, people forget where the road is.
Yeah.
And when they plow, they can't get far enough to the other side of the south side of the road. So because of the mailboxes, so everything gets pushed
I
to the
would,
north.
I would think that the mailboxes are, it should have been put in where they belong, but we could look into it.
Yeah, they have to be a certain distance from the edge of the pavement.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to check into that then, because maybe they could plow back. They'd feel a little more confident plowing back further on that side.
Yeah, it just depends on probably the edge of the pavement for the mailman.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Okay. Well, look into it, please.
Sure. Dwayne,
That's it.
Dwayne Golden,
Where do you want me?
right there, flying where you want.
Dwayne Gaden, 235 Second Street Northwest. My property has 150 feet of frontage on Second Street Northwest in the proposed improvement area. Using the estimated cost, the property would be assessed $26,199. Paid at 3% for 20 years. Payments would be $1,760 per year for a total of $35,219. The engineer's conclusion is that the proposed improvement is feasible and should be as proposed. I am here to tell you that it is not economically feasible for the homeowners and will create a hardship for most. Under Minnesota statute 429.051, city may assess the cost of any improvement on property benefited by the improvement based on the benefit received. Case law has ruled that the benefit received is measured by the increase in the market value of the land due to the improvement. Benefit is measured by the difference between what a willing buyer would pay a willing seller for the property before and after the improvement. I don't know how you or anyone on the city council can in good conscience tell me that the value of my property will increase by $35,000 at the completion of the project. I urge the city council to not start this improvement project until grant money or aid is secured to reduce the burden on the property owners. The engineers have provided alternative number one in the documents there. Do nothing. That is what I am in favor of.
Thank you.
Dean, good one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so, I'm here representing Relate Church. And, on Balsam Avenue. Are you assessed, each side of the road? Do they share that cost or is that per homeowner or per business?
How about the alley?
No, I mean the front foot, you know, you had a guesstimate on that. Is that shared between
Both sides.
both sides?
Yeah.
That can be cut in half?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
the footage along each side of the road.
yeah.
It's the total, and then the cost divided by that footage.
So we've got, not right at the church, but the next near Ellington's there, that'll go by that little park. And then the parsonage. And then the Second Street, and then the back alley. That full alley there, and then the next full alley
First one.
and Main.
So,
Yeah, you're almost surrounded.
yeah.
Yeah, the project.
How do you come up with a cost sharing, with our neighbors and, you know, other churches and, you know, we're nonprofit. So I'm just wondering how that's assessed.
I don't know that.
So you would just split those front feet
Both sides.
to both sides. All the way around. Okay, okay.
And commercial properties, they're assessed the same way as residential property.
Yes.
Yes. Still front foot, still split.
Thank you.
Yeah, cause you're right across the alley there.
Perfect. No, yeah.
The lead, it goes by footage or what their service is, right, Chris? So,
Yeah, there, for corner lots, it's different. There's a lot of math that goes into it, but if your service line comes off the side that's being improved with water and sewer, then you get assessed. You don't get assessed your side lot, your lot where no service line's coming off. If you're on a corner lot,
Right,
you don't get a double assessed
okay,
for that.
okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So even if you're surrounded, you're not surrounded.
So wait, say that again. If you have a corner lot, you're not charged for both sides. So,
For water and sewer. So,
oh, but curbs and gutters you are.
and streets.
Yeah, so depending on which side your water feed or sewer connection comes off of would be your bigger assessment on like that corner, on your corner one.
Yeah.
Whichever side that comes off, you get your bigger assessment.
Yeah, $27,000 worth.
We don't know yet.
Oh, I just calculated it.
Yeah, we don't know what our PFA is gonna help with.
Wow, that's
But yeah, I mean, those are the numbers to start with. Janelle, you're up next.
Oh.
Or are you?
good. Well, no, I just have a couple of things like, I'm not done yet. I should probably make an appointment. So on the corner, maybe you could pull that picture up of this. I think this is gonna affect the whole city, but, so the part, if that four-way stop sign and the whole lake frontage,
Right there.
that right there, yep. So what's the triangle that's between the boat landing and the dock? What's that gray area?
That used to be, that's the current road right now.
Yep, okay, keep going to the right,
This is where they set up with
the van.
down to Spirit Lake and
So
whatnot.
that's just gonna be the only grassy, or is it gonna be a concrete or is it gonna be grass? Right, that triangle,
Center of that,
yep,
that'll be great. It'll most likely be better grass than it is now.
okay.
When we're done with the project.
Then what's on Gladys Corner, right across the street, that little grease flash strip?
So
Yeah.
that's where they can pull in to back their boat across and down the ramp. That's all right away there. That's not on property. It's all the city right away there. Yeah.
That's existing road right now too, though, right?
Yeah, road, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this be ready to go up in or back down.
Got it.
So does the city pay for all the curbing and sidewalk that's on the beach side, on the lake side?
The sidewalk for sure. Yeah, yes, the curb too, because there's no property owners other than the city on that side, the lake side of the street. Yep.
Okay.
And we're saying the city, but we are the city,
Yeah, exactly.
which means our taxes will probably go up a little bit, right? Anyway,
We will be most likely when this project comes through and we get a total, we have to go out for a general obligation bond to pay for it.
so I think everybody is nervous. I think what everybody just needs to know is that when you come up with your grant and you come up with this extra money, let everybody know and make everybody comfortable and feel comfortable about it. That's the best.
In this whole process, once we get through the bidding stage, then there is another meeting where we know exactly what the assessments will be.
A
This-
public meeting?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
this is preliminary because we don't have any concrete numbers. We have
Just starts making us sweat.
unfortunately.
Jody, is it not true? There's still a hard stop built into this project. If we get to a point where we don't have the financing or it looks like it's gonna be too much of a burden on the community, we as a council can still put a hard stop in this project?
Yes, until bids are awarded, we can stop it. Once we get all the bids in and then we have a concrete number on what this project costs and how it plays out. At that point, we can still stop it. Until bids are actually awarded to start the project.
And do you have the ability to adjust those bids so you're only gonna do 50% of that project? Instead of, can you calculate that? So I do city projects too, and a lot of times we'll have a variation on a bid, or some things are only on a second bid basis. But if they don't want to do the entire project, and they say, okay, well, let's only do half of it because it's too much. Then they'll say, okay, let's just do 50% of it. Is that possible that it goes through that if you get the funding for that?
Engineering wise, is there a spot we can do that?
I mean, just to make everybody, I'm just saying, just to make everybody comfortable and happy. You know, I understand that it's a lot of money coming out of everybody's pocket. And writing a check for it, that's what my cousin is saying. Hey, we gotta write a $14,000 check. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But at this point, we're thinking, okay, well, we can make payments on just like just paying our taxes. But if we didn't have to do that, if our taxes weren't raised, which our taxes have gone up considerably this past 5-6 years, not just from every, just anyway. But we're a small town. We don't want to keep seeing everything go up and up and up. And a lot of people who are retired here cannot afford to go up and up and up. And I understand this project is necessary. So I think if there's a point where we have to look at it and say, okay, let's not do 100% of the project. We've got $1.2 million that can be assessed and put into this project that we've got granted. Let's do that. And if we can only do another 500,000, and so our project is only 1.7 million, let's do that, and people can afford that kind of thing.
Or like push the sidewalks back,
Well,
or whatever to the main.
whatever may seem feasible. I mean, but if there's certain things that we know that need to be done, then I agree with, I like what you're doing, but again, everybody has to be able to afford it. So that's what, we don't want the people losing sleep over it.
So the places we really can't do that, even engineering wise, if we have to replace a water line and a sewer line, you also got to replace the street at least.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of it you can't piecemeal. There might be some area we could. I don't know. There's a lot of questions yet until we have real numbers. The council's not gonna make any decision here today. This is just public hearing, so you guys know what's going on as much as we do. And we don't know the real answers until the bids actually come in. And then what we hope for is we hope there's hungry contractors. We get some lower bids.
Yeah.
But you don't know until that point.
Your proposed schedule, did you build in that 30-day period for people who, when you get the final numbers and you tell everybody what their assessment's going to be, they have a 30-day period to appeal to the district court. Did you build that in there for the people that are just gonna?
The 30-day period is for the
I
final,
mean, what you're assessing that particular individual.
is for the final assessment hearing
Yes.
process. Yeah,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
build that in there?
that would be in the final assessment hearing process.
Are you done, Janelle?
I have one more thing about the storm water collection. So you had said earlier that Menahga had 50-year-old roads because of all the nice sandy soil.
Mhm.
So a lot of these right here on this one particularly, the road just goes into the dirt. There's most of the water's absorbed. So now when you do this and you're directing all that extra water to where's it going? A storm collection
Into
base?
Storm infiltration.
Where is that gonna be?
It's going to be periodic throughout the project. I can't point at one spot,
So
but mainly
this four corners, you got,
this intersection.
You
will
can
see
have a-
drainage catch from all four directions.
so underneath that will be a big cesspool?
Well, that's where we were doing at least the two with the leach lines in that area.
Yeah, there's,
So we have two basically holding tanks, almost like a big septic tank.
Is that gonna be big enough? You're gonna have 3 roads on it.
That's,
It's a big catch basin.
yeah,
no, but it's different than that.
You have a picture where you have 2 circles in the middle that, 4-way. In one of your drawings, there is 2 round circles in there in one of the drawings. I don't. Yeah, but does that go feed down to,
Well, those are sanitary sewer.
okay, that's not a collection.
No,
So I'm just wondering where all the water runoff is gonna go to.
so it's a system, again, with infiltration. It has catch basins that feeds that water caught into a manhole structure. From there, it goes into perforated pipe that sits in rock beds. And we're talking, 10 to 12 inch diameter pipe that feeds out into the sandy soils,
Underground.
underground. Yep. About 5-6 feet down or so.
Some of that water going to Spirit Lake. Eventually would,
Eventually, yeah.
eventually.
But with
Well,
the system, it has the chance to infiltrate.
And that other low point, you had that other low point drain in here too, right, in this corner.
Yep.
That's the problem with this whole thing is everything is downhill.
Yeah.
Every bit of this comes downhill to this area.
So that's where you can have this whole network
That's
of,
why we're always getting the washouts down by the boat ramp. When we get a bigger rain event, it washes out down by the boat ramp, then they're down there with the payloader, drain it up, but that water is getting straight into the lake. And that was part of this whole design is we're trying to keep Spirit Lake clear and beautiful. So that's what a lot of this design was, is to catch that, filter it, put as much back into the ground as we can, and then any that's left is going down to our current sediment pond, correct?
Nope, not quite.
Close?
You haven't seen the design yet. I apologize. We're not there yet. But some of it's up here, not on paper yet. If I could point down the screen. Can you zoom into the intersection? Of course. So again, we're catching flow from all 4 directions. We're putting in these pipe networks, again, that infiltrate into the ground. As the water builds up, if it's a huge event, say a 4-inch rain in a half an hour, that's a big rain event. They're gonna bypass and come over to the system down here, which is the low point. At that low point, we still have those infiltration pieces as far as manholes and perforated pipe. But we also outlet to a shallow stormwater basin. It's right where the snow's piled right now, off to the side of the road. And that'll have a fixed outlet structure and pipe that goes to the lake at a certain elevation. That pond builds up to a certain elevation, then that water goes to Spirit Lake.
So that's what I was talking about. It goes into that sediment.
It goes in, yeah.
Yep, that's what I was.
Just at the opposite end of where it's.
So we still have a chance to catch the sediment.
Yeah.
Before it gets into the lake. That's the goal. Keep it clear.
Can you close off the water line on the other side? The other side line?
There is another drainage right next to the winter access,
Oh, yeah. there's-
straight in and straight into the lake.
Yeah.
So,
Off of 87?
yeah,
It goes straight, it
that
literally
goes straight into the lake.
So
That's
I
got
don't
a-
want to
that's
be
got a
upset
grid-
Anymore, that has a.
That has a grit chamber below it.
Yeah, there is, there's two separate tanks, so they suck those out once in a while.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem like when it rains real hard, I've literally taken videos of it where it's coming out of that sewer system. And it looks like it's a waterfall flowing out of there so hard. There's no way that it's catching anything on that basement at that point. It's moving so fast. Literally, it's moving sand down at the bottom of the lake, creates a big hole, and then when it stops, sand kind of falls back in.
Yeah, that's a MnDOT
Yeah.
group system. I don't think they're planning on doing anything with it with the upcoming project in 2028. That's all I know about it.
Is that coming off the road, Mike? Or just off?
Comes right off the road.
So when they redid 87, that doesn't even have a bump up curve then?
There is a bump up curve right there, but it bump up curves and then it kind of shows into a little sluice area and then that goes right to it. So it doesn't make sense, but it's neat.
All right, Mel, did you get all your answer?
well, I have one concern that I think your city council should keep in mind, and this going back to what she was saying about the assessed property values increasing, and are we gonna be able to sell our houses for that? And, being a realtor, I see writing on the wall that would concern me, that we would be able to get our return for our money spent. So maybe the city can counterbalance and say, we can lower city taxes if these assessments are gonna increase, because I've already seen, property assessed values and market prices here. And what we're being taxed on is here. And homes aren't selling at.
Well, I mean, Janelle, how much do we raise taxes this last year?
But we did.
You raised on my portion of the county.
Overall, I mean, Menahga, since I've been here 2 years now, we're the lowest tax increased city in the county. I mean,
Yeah.
the school is.
The county is definitely its own animal. And I know you guys follow suit by the algorithm that you get from the county. So when the city, the county assessor says your house is taxed at.
Yeah, in that case,
200,000,
that's out of our hands. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's an algorithm you use on the county to create your value.
Well, we don't have a choice but to use the value of the county's.
That's what I'm saying. So just keep it in mind that.
Trust me,
that-
I do nothing but that.
Yeah, well, I know, but there's houses that are, $6,000 in taxes already.
Oh, yeah, I know, it's the highest property tax, one of the highest property tax counties in the state.
Yes, get that down.
The lowest income.
So we can.
But all of this over the last 50 years has created that too.
I mean, yes.
But the one thing on that real estate side is like if you sell country property, you have to disclose how old your septic system is and how old your well is. Where in the city now, if you had to tell people that, yeah, the sewer pipes out there are 70 years old, you don't have to disclose that. Where in the country you do, because this is an infrastructure system instead of that private. So that if people knew that, well, my septic line is 70 years old and my water line is 70 years old, that would probably make them say, well, is it worth this much? So there's disclosures that you don't have to do.
Right.
But I understand your point. Yes.
It's a point of caution, being as we're, is this a project everyone can afford or not?
All right, how about Pam Redmond? Sister? Sister Pam?
Yeah, she does have my name down. Yeah, I think really good, unless you love them.
She talked to that for both of you?
So for any of us who are thinking about selling our homes over the next few months or putting them up for sale, we're kind of sitting in limbo because we really don't know what to tell a prospective buyer. Are you? Okay.
You have to disclose that as far as the seller.
Yeah, that would you know.
You have to disclose it.
Assessment.
Like right now, for a couple of months, we're not gonna know what that dollar amount is.
That'll be,
Yeah.
right out of your car.
Tony Granrock?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, sometimes prospective buyers can assume that too.
Is it Granrock?
Question back. You had a question in the back corner?
Oh, I did. I was just wondering where I sit with all of this on that 218 Cotton.
So that's the
Like right on.
gas place that comes to my house, runs right onto the property line.
Okay.
And then that last little bit you were talking about, the manhole, that would be on the corner of her property also.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's no frontage for it, so I don't know how you calculate that.
We'd have to look at your property, where your service comes off for your sanitary sewer. But that would be the only thing you would be charged for. You wouldn't have a street assessment in your case, as all the sewer is under grass.
And I don't know if you know, Ron, does there sewer come off that line or is it off Cottonwood Street?
Hers comes out that line.
Yep.
So hers and mine are
Hers comes
connected,
out there.
and Zane's probably connected.
So, yeah, theirs would be split because you got the one house there and the other house.
Still,
Yes.
There's Zane,
east house comes up back there.
Yep.
You have the east house. Seen the red?
no, there's that one ends there. This is Dean's corner here. Got an odd shaped lot. You've got this corner in it.
Oh, yep.
But yeah, this one comes back to this one.
Yep.
Dean's.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm on the end down.
And I think there's 5 services on that line.
Sure, I thought I was special. I thought it was just for me.
Well, and the manhole put back there, so.
Yeah. All right, so that's everybody that was on the list. Did anybody else have anything?
Jody, I'd like to share one thing, if I may. I just looked it up here, talking about elderly and paying property tax and whatnot, but it says here, Minnesota offers property tax relief for seniors age 65 plus through what they call the homeowner's homestead credit refund, or what's otherwise known as a circuit breaker. And they also have a program for the senior citizens property tax deferral program. So there are programs that the state has sitting there that if you're a lower income person, there is opportunity to get a refund from the state on your property tax. So that would be something to look into too for some of these people that can't bear the added tax burden related to this project. And also bear in mind too that as you look at the city as a whole, people throughout the last 15 or 20 years, we've had other improvements to water and sewer. And I think Jody, you mentioned, or maybe Chris, you mentioned, this is kind of the last phase of the oldest infrastructure in Menahga. And is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, between this project and the Highway 71 project.
Pretty much wraps it up.
So I guess where I'm going with this is that I know we have to plow through this and try to get our infrastructure up to date. And once this final phase is this phase we're looking at tonight and the Highway 71 project, I think the city of Menahga will be in pretty good position for years to come.
And then we did have 2 letters that were submitted. So Brett, if you want to read those.
Yes, I will. I'm going to read them as they're written. So if I stumble a little bit, please forgive me. The first one is from Jensine Curdy on behalf of her son, Chris Curdy. I am submitting this letter to be read at the February 9, 2026 public hearing regarding the upcoming Alteg Water, Sewer, and Street project. I am in Arizona, unable to attend in person. My son, Chris Curdy's building is at 211 Aspen Avenue Southwest, is in the proposed project area. I am the property manager for this rental property and have a durable power of attorney to act on his behalf. After reviewing the proposed plan that was presented to the city council in January, this was in a council packet online, I noticed that during this project, the access from 211 Aspen Southwest building to 2nd Street Southwest was changing drastically, and I was surprised that these changes were happening without seeking input from the affected property owners. This property currently has 2 entrances into the property from 2nd Street, one on the east side of the building and one on the west side. The proposed plan would only have an entrance on the east side. Our renters use both of these entrances on a regular basis. This building has 4 units with 3 entrance doors, east, south, and west. We must have 2 entrances from 2nd Street, and once the Highway 71 construction starts, these entrances will be more important than ever. What we currently have is 2 entrances from 2nd Street with public angle parking for 9 cars, and the proposed plan would be 1 entrance and parallel parking for maybe 5 cars. We have our own parking lot for our tenants, but there are times when the beach is open, school events, fishing derby, midsummers, fireworks, when every available parking spot is filled in this area. Maximizing public parking in this area is essential, in my opinion. What is also proposed is the installation of a sidewalk and curb 18 feet north of the building, on the south side of the street only, which will go right down the middle of the current angled parking, which in my opinion is a waste of valuable parking space. If the city feels a need for a sidewalk on 2nd Street, I feel the north side of the street would be a better fit, as there is currently very little public parking on that side of the street. Drainage may be a factor in this decision to add the sidewalk and curb, but I feel that the current configuration has worked fairly well for many years. I feel if any changes were to happen, it would be to add a seep drain on the west side of our building at the street entrance. I noticed that the width of 2nd Street Southwest will go from 24 feet wide currently to the proposed width of 44 feet. I think this is overkill. All the added asphalt will be an additional cost to the city taxpayers and landowner alike. I'd like to ask the city to give the proposed design further consideration, with the affected landowners being given an opportunity to have their voices heard in the matter. Thank you for your consideration. Jensine Curdy.
Quick note on that, I believe that's the 80-foot right of way there, isn't it? Okay. It's the one weird spot in town where we have like a 80-foot.
No, a lot of areas of town have 80-foot right of way.
So a lot of what that's talking about is city-owned property. Or all of what that's talking about. It's almost city revenue. All of it.
This next one is from Adam Waite. Dear City Administrator and members of the council, this is a long one, so buckle up. I say that affectionately. Menahga is a special place not because it is overbuilt, but because it is accessible, affordable, and naturally beautiful. People stop here, stay here, and choose to live here because the lake is easy to enjoy, parking is convenient, and the town feels welcoming rather than engineered, and taxes are reasonable. Any project that touches the lakefront therefore deserves especially careful thought, not only because of its cost, but because it affects the very qualities that draw people to our community in the first place. My concerns about this project are based on the scope of work discussed in a direct conversation with the lead of the project from the company that provided the quote the city is working from. One of our primary concerns is that the lakefront beautification is being bundled into a broader infrastructure project in a way that places a disproportionate financial burden on a small number of residents, even though the benefit is shared by the entire city. The lake is a community asset. Everyone uses it. Everyone benefits from the visibility, access, tourism, and identity it provides. Infrastructure improvements that directly affect specific properties may reasonably be assessed to those properties. However, cosmetic or aesthetic enhancements that benefit the whole community should not be funded by a limited group of residents. While we understand that completing beautification work now may be easier or less expensive than doing so later, that convenience alone is not sufficient justification to move forward. We believe the entire project should be paused until there is a clear, transparent understanding of who is responsible for which costs, what grant funding is actually secured, and what the true financial impact will be for residents. There would be significantly more opposition to this project if residents clearly understood that these improvements would result in increased taxes across the city. Even with potential grant funding, the proposed project estimated at approximately 3.9 million sidewalks and established character, we believe it is prudent to pause the full scope of the project until these questions are clearly answered. There are also practical issues that affect Menahga as a whole. We already have a walking path along the lakefront that exists today and is not being adequately maintained. During my conversation with the lead on the project, it was explained that the proposal includes removing or shifting the existing sidewalk from the house side of the street and creating a walking path on the lake side, a change that would push the roadway closer to homes and require the removal of mature trees. This raises serious questions about cost, long-term maintenance, and necessity. The proposed changes also reduce convenient lake access and parking, limit boat ramp usability, and replace natural spaces with concrete and utilities. This does not enhance the experience for visitors or residents and risks making Menahga less appealing to those who come here to enjoy the lake or consider making this town their home. Increased assessments and taxes tied on to non-essential improvements threaten the affordability that makes Menahga attractive and stable. At a time when the real estate market is already shifting, uncertainty and higher costs will slow growth, discourage new families, and negatively impact local businesses. For those of us living along First Street Southwest and the lakefront, it is important to state clearly that every resident we're able to speak with. It is important to state clearly that every resident we were able to speak with is strongly opposed to this beautification process moving forward as currently proposed. The permanent loss of front yards, mature trees, and the character of the name of progress. In a walking path would eliminate existing parking along the boat ramp, effectively leading to no practical place for vehicles with trailers to park. This would significantly hinder recreational use of the boat ramp, discourage visitors, and negatively affect residents who rely on that access. Moving the road closer to our homes expands the city right away to the edge of our houses, creates long-term uncertainty, and fundamentally alters properties that can never be restored once they are taken. This level of impact is not reasonable when the necessity has not been clearly demonstrated. While we recognize that not every resident experiences this impact directly, everyone enjoys the lakefront, which is why we believe these concerns merit the attention of the entire community. We are also concerned that communication to date has not been clear about the true cost residents may incur through taxes or assessments. Ambiguous language makes it difficult for people to fully understand what is being asked of them financially, and it risks decisions being made without informed consent. For that reason, we respectfully request that every affected household receive a clear written estimate of their expected out-of-pocket costs, so residents can evaluate the proposal with transparency, confidence, and fairness. We love Menahga as it is. We believe wise leadership protects what already works. We ask that the city pause this project until there is clear financial transparency and pursue a fair, cost-shared approach before moving forward, choosing stewardship, clarity, and community unity as we consider the future of our town. Adam and Laura Wade.
A lot of that was answered in our previous conversation. That was the only two.
That was the only two I received, yes.
Anybody else have anything they want to ask? Well, we have our engineer here.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm looking between the example 1 and example 2 of the summary of estimated assessments in reference to Second Street. How do you know which part of Second Street requires the water main? Which part doesn't? Like so the green line there references the sanitary. But for example, 2, it mentions a water main service line. Is there any streets on Second Street?
That's Second Street, where it comes down and jogs.
This has both of those, like example 2 has both of those, the sanitary, sewer, and water main. Are there houses that have both of those?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the ones in the green line there.
It's, see the mid block of the church parking. Go to the parking lot, there's a green manhole there.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Some of those homes feed into that.
Okay.
They're served by that pipeline.
Okay.
Just.
So there's no substantial cost difference between in place replacement of a line and putting in a new line. And if there's no cost of asphalt over the top, why are we doing inline versus just putting in new pipe?
The complication is because they're in a 24 wide alleyway that shares space with all the other utilities as far as telephone, fiber optic, gas mains, and such. Those alleys along the sewer, and of course the sewer is the deepest part. Everything else is up higher and has to be dug around to get down to the top of depth of that sewer. It's a very complicated and slow dig. But
So that portion of the cost isn't equal, is what you're saying.
right.
Right. Okay. And what about the reduction of the pipe? How much of the usable pipe is reduced by lining it from the inside?
Very little. No, and it's 8-inch pipe, and the flow of sewer coming into those legs of pipeline, it's not major front lines that receive a lot of flow. They may have a handful of businesses or homes on them.
Is that even an eighth of an inch, that cast in place?
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that, maybe
3/16 or
something like that, yeah.
You know, when the alleys that you have proposed for asphalt, is that really necessary? Just curious.
The city was looking at the alley behind the Shell station
And
and the church.
Relates property there.
Yeah.
Whole thing block or half block.
Yeah, just that one alley, because of the gravel runoff after the storms down to the.
And that alley between First and Highway 71 or 87.
Yes.
That's relates property to.
Yeah, just be the first alley from First Street down to Main, behind the Shell station.
Down.
Second
to First.
No, that's where all that water runs, right?
Not second to first. No, just have a wrong statement in there.
County gonna show us first. No, real good tip for that first one.
Like lining, I'm just wondering why it should stay gravel or dirt versus the asphalt. They're gravel, they're dirt now. They're fancy putting asphalt on it, just curious. I'm not,
Was that due to all dirt we're getting on,
Wash it away.
everything's washing down into the storm drain, which then goes into the the catch basin, so now we have to have them sucked out by Vite
Oh, I'm just curious.
out of $1,000 a
Makes sense.
pop or whatever.
I got a question. North and south of the, VFW club, in between, Spirit Lake Lumber, there's a sidewalk going in right alongside of our building. But there is a natural gas meter that's on the north side of that sidewalk. Has that got to be removed and replaced?
No,
Because it shows blacktop going through there.
No, keep in mind, these drawings in front of you are pretty schematical. But we've noticed where that gas.
Oh, you have noticed that? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna stay away from it.
Okay, I was wondering, I hope I don't have to pay for something like that to be moved.
And they would have to pay, the private utility company would have to pay
Oh, okay.
for relocation within public right away.
Spot.
But looking at your schematic here, it looked like the blacktop was going right by it.
Yeah,
Okay, sounds good.
we're good.
Anybody else? Okay, like I said, this is our preliminary to get the information out, and hopefully everybody's got at least the information they were looking for, whether they agree or not, that's a whole different deal, but we're just trying to get the information out to everybody so they have an idea of what we're trying to do, give you an approximate cost. Like I said, we won't know until the bids come in. We know what we get from PFA before we'll have a final cost for everybody. So that's everybody that wanted to speak. I will close the public hearing and we'll move on with the regular council meeting. You're all welcome to stay for that if you like.
One thing on this corner over like there's a hospital over here and first year northwest. There's a big hole. Yeah. Picture that's being up to the corner. That's probably.
Agreed.
I actually would like to see. It's gonna be usually the steepest those washers are, so I don't know where the first one is. They're not the one that's or maybe the.
Sooner or later, it has to.
Well, I think that sidewalk, they probably scares a lot of people that way. Not like that.
Sidewalk.
Oh, that's that. She says.
You got us.
I know, I would think a lot of people would like to walk there.
I planned on this thing.
It's not. I think you guys should really approach a lot. But you're really.
Available.
Yeah, I knew that.
It's just, here, we're down around South West, no, not on this road, along on 97. It's a meeting in my yard. Yeah, this will be, here's my house right here, here's our blue cat. So there's our house and my brother's house that had possibility. My husband is very ill, and my brother's wife is very ill. They both are either in wheelchairs, but nobody will be digging in like going, yeah.
The only thing we have to dig in is we're going to pothole down. Deep.
But anyway, I was worried, I said, how am I gonna get? Then I have bring it to your office. But I have another question where several months back, people were getting really you might want to say that is there's a strip about there is a strip that looks like from the middle of our yard to your house, you know. I don't know. So. This one here, so I don't, I don't know.
She was not. He's been telling me now, that's one.
Yeah, we can.
House to check on the water meter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one summer we had a.
Chances are.
And it was really kind of pumping up the yard, I think it was kind of, put on good, yeah.
This one, it goes.
Yeah,
right here.
Should I still bring in the paper? Yeah, so I don't, you know, obviously it's gonna cost something, but it's gonna be. You're right. That right, maybe. Then I went to school with his dad.
Yes, good name. If you want.
Go to me. So what's your dad's?
Richard.
Glad.
I had them set out one for Dr. the equipment.
Take long. Maybe not for the connections.
Yeah, question, when they did the camera through it, if they checked the individual service lines or if they just did the main. Couldn't remember which one, when they.
When you run the sewer, line, you're gonna put all the new.
Yeah, well, that's what he was wondering is, because at the same time, is if his sewer hookup from the street to the house needs to be replaced, he wants to know if at that time, you know, because then if it happens later, they cut the street out.
Where's he up here?
35 second. So it's just the sewer main, the main gets replaced now. He's wondering if the main from the service line from the house, from the main to his house.
Put sewer service.
We'll bring the meeting back door.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
We open at 7:59.
Hey folks, we're starting the meeting again.
Next on the agenda here was the receipt of commission minutes. We didn't have any. There was no planning and zoning this month or last month. That gets us into the new business. Number A was the LALS contract pending clarification. That didn't happen, so we have tabled that until the next meeting. Hopefully, if we get everything back from legal. That brings us to resolution 2026-04 to authorize the PFA loan.
Right, resolution 2026-04, authorization of application to the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority. Resolution of application, be it resolved that the city of Menahga is hereby applying to the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority for a loan from the Drinking Water Revolving Fund for for improvements to its drinking water system as described in the loan application. Be it further resolved that the city of Menahga estimates the loan amount to be $1,500,000 or the as bid cost of the project. Be it further resolved that the city of Menahga has legal authority to apply for the loan and the financial, technical, and managerial capacity to repay the loan and ensure proper construction, operation, and maintenance of the project for its design life. Be it further resolved that the city of Menahga hereby expresses its official intent to use proceeds of this loan to reimburse construction expenditures made prior to the issuance of its general obligation bond to the Public Facilities Authority. I certify that the above resolution was adopted by the city of Menahga by the Menahga City Council on February 9th, 2026.
Need a motion.
To adopt
Mike,
the motion.
Second.
Keith, you seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion passes 5-0. I'll need a copy of that for sign, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
We could get that as
Scan it to me.
And then that brings up next on the agenda, resolution 2026-05, resolution ordering plans.
This is resolution ordering improvement and preparation of plans, whereas a resolution of the city council adopted on the 12th day of January 2026 fixed a date for a public hearing on the proposed improvements of 2nd Street Northwest from Evergreen Avenue to Cottonwood Avenue, 2nd Street Northwest from Cottonwood Avenue to Aspen Avenue, Balsam Avenue Northwest from 2nd Street Northwest to 1st Street Northwest, 2nd Street Northeast from Aspen Avenue to Cedar Avenue Northeast, Cedar Avenue Northeast from 2nd Street Northeast to Main Street East, Birch Avenue Northeast from 2nd Street Northeast to 1st Street Northeast, Balsam Avenue Southwest from Main Street West to 2nd Street Southwest, 1st Street Southwest from Main Street West to Balsam Avenue Southwest, 1st Street Southwest from Balsam Avenue Southwest to Aspen Avenue, 2nd Street Southwest from Balsam Avenue Southwest to Aspen Avenue, public beach parking area, alley between Balsam Avenue Northwest and Aspen Avenue to Main Street West to 2nd Street Northwest, alley between Aspen and Birch Avenue Northeast, Main Street East to 2nd Street Northeast, backyard sanitary sewer extension 200 feet east of Cottonwood Avenue Northwest, water main replacement on Highway 87, Fir Avenue Northwest to Juniper Avenue Northwest. And whereas 10 days mailed notice and 2 weeks published notice of the hearing was given and the hearing was held thereon on the 9th day of February 2026, at which all persons desiring to be heard were given an opportunity to be heard thereon. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Menahga, Minnesota. 1, such improvement is necessary, cost-effective, and feasible as detailed in the feasibility report. 2, such improvement is hereby ordered as proposed in the council resolution adopted January 12th, 2026. 3, Alltake Engineers Incorporated is hereby designated as the engineer for this improvement. 4, the city council declares its official intent to reimburse itself for the costs of the improvement from the proceeds of tax exempt bonds. Adopted by the council the 9th day of February 2026.
Get a motion to approve resolution 2026-05.
So moved.
Keith, you get a second?
Second.
Bill? Any discussion?
So just something real quick here. There was some people that spoke up tonight and maybe made some comments or suggestions. Chris, do you see anything on the horizon that might change the scope of this project? Meaning, are there gonna be minor alterations based on some of the comments made tonight, or you think you're gonna basically keep things as they are?
I'll start with, Jen Seen had her statement in regards to her driveway, so we need to look at how to redesign that, and I'll leave a sketch up here at City Hall for you guys to mingle over. I'm not sure which direction it'll go, but let me know.
And then
That one crossing the.
right off First Street, right on the corner, right
across from the VFW, just the driveway
Their
there.
driveway opening.
Yeah.
That shouldn't change the cost of things much, I wouldn't think.
No.
We already had sidewalk and curb and gutter there, so it's just a drive over now, driveway ramp.
Easy. If we change Jensen's, I would actually lower the street width, so save costs there.
And then there were some comments made on the water retention system. I know you were talking about pipes in the ground and filtering the water out and whatnot. Is that a deviation from putting in those big box containers you had talked about earlier, or is that still part of the plan?
Oh, as far as putting in a grit chamber?
Well, you still
Well,
have.
you had talked,
you still have-
maybe it's complementing, each are complementing themselves maybe, but when you had talked about putting in perforated pipe with a crushed rock base to let the water filter back into the ground. Then you had mentioned something about a 4-inch rain within an hour, which is a fairly heavy rain, that there would be a chance of overflow or whatnot. I guess I lost sight of, are you putting in these big box containers to collect sediment before it actually makes its way into Spirit Lake? Is that the plan?
It is more of a manhole structure. So if you know the size of a manhole structure, it's normally 4-foot diameter.
Okay.
That's what would catch the water with a, grate up in the curb line. From there, we have a sump in the bottom of that structure below the invert of an exiting pipe. So we got 3 feet of grit storage down there. So when the water comes in above it, the sediment's going to drop to the bottom. It's going to build up, reach that elevation of the pipe outlet, which is the perforated pipe in a rock bed, and head over to the next structure where that's catching water too. So it's a system of structures catching both the storm runoff and the sediment, and then infiltrating into the sandy soils.
That's similar to the one that's already on First and Balsam.
Similar.
That's
Similar.
there already. It would just be put down by the lake. Or a similar system, yeah.
So then, that being said, there won't be any impact on the existing storm drain that spills into that water retention system. Will that's all gonna stay intact as is, or is there gonna be any improvements made on that structure?
MnDOT has come back and said that their drainage calculations for that structure that's in place, that grit chamber up for Highway 71, is adequate for what they have going to it, and it is not going to be replaced by any different means. So
we'll still be.
So you'll maintain the integrity of that catch basin that's sitting there right now along the lake shore, I guess is my question.
Sediment pond.
A sediment pond, yeah.
Okay.
And some of this water may flow into that if we had a big rain event, right?
We have a big rain event. Yeah, it'd take a pretty big rain event to overtop everything we got going on.
Waiting on me?
No, you're good.
Okay, that's all I had, Jody.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Otherwise, we've got a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries 5-0. Better sign one of them, I suppose, too.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us up to the award winning land bid for property R175600210.
Yes, as we know, council, we, at our last, meeting, the council elected to put, that property up for bid. We received one bid for $21,100, and, I will leave it to the council to, make the decision.
And we did receive the 10% down, the check for that is in hand.
Say that the property down by right next to Mohawk.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and that was
21,100.
100.
Yep.
So we just need to decide for it to sell it.
Yeah, well, we had agreed to sell it and we had said it had to be a minimum of 17,000 at our last meeting. And we published it for 2 weeks in the paper and.
That's why I hate missing council meetings because you're
So it's been published. It's been
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
and I saw that. I just, yeah.
Got the one bid from the people that were interested.
I make a motion that we accept the bid.
All right, Keith made a motion that we accept the bid for that property for $21,100 by Mohawk. Get a second?
I'll second.
Darren?
I'd like to point out, Jody, that the term of the sale is being sold as is, where is, and title will be conveyed by a quit claim deed instead of warranty deed.
Yes,
That's what was that.
yep, that's what we published in the paper both weeks. It's all on the record, but thank you. Any other discussion on it? All right, all those in favor of selling that property for $21,100, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Let Mohawk know they own some property.
I'll take care of the rest.
All right, then we have our Greenwood Connection report and financials, Laura.
You doing anything else?
No.
In the consent agenda, so.
Okay, you're good. That's why I was confused. Like,
How's Laura?
Oh, that was a long one. That meeting, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
Brett
did you-
told me about 20 minutes, 40 minutes.
I didn't include the public hearing in that estimate, madam.
Oh, here I thought you were talking, because I knew there was a public hearing, and I was thinking, oh, you must think it's gonna go fairly quick on that. So then I get here and I'm like, oh, no, it's not gonna go quick. No, 2 hours, like,
Most people we've had at a council meeting since I started.
oh, that gets the people in here, doesn't it?
I'm gonna threaten to assess more often.
But
well, do you see how quick it cleared out?
smaller sections, then you won't have so many here.
Sure.
You know,
Let's not.
No, no.
no, it's no fun to go through those, is it? No. I agree. No, it's, so we had our census, or our census is, 56. We had a, loss for the month of December. We didn't have that much often last year, but overall for the year, we had a profit. So in the December, we saw a loss, so. See. Oh, meeting dates and times. Did you see that it is the 3rd or the 4th Monday of the month at 3:00?
Okay, that's awesome. Thank
If
you.
you could put that in, yeah.
Yep, I will.
So, yeah, the door, you guys had approved that door alarm system already before. Council just was updated that it had been approved already, but, so I have a meeting. I was supposed to have a meeting tomorrow, but I have a meeting Friday, so hopefully we can schedule a time to get those installed. Otherwise I had talked about a part-time position and supporting accounts receivable at this time. I don't know, we're still working on that. I haven't advertised or done anything with it. So I don't know. I mean, we just had our other meeting, so I don't know. I don't know if there's really much else. But like I said, that's all I really have, unless you got some questions for me. We had state survey actually, which I think we had a meeting. We had that. You knew state surveyors were there. Yeah, we had our we had our meeting in the morning, right? No, we had their meeting in the afternoon. Sorry, that day was a blur, but anyway, the state surveyors were there. We haven't heard back. It went really well. I mean, there were a few things, but overall, it was pretty good. So.
I know this might be, we're not changing subject, but after the drill we had.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had the drill.
Yeah. It went pretty good, other than a few small
Yeah.
hiccups, but on our end. Have you looked at doing any like a access road on the backside around it? Thought about that or looked into it?
I talked about that with somebody. Was that at your meeting? Somebody brought it up and said it would be nice.
Yeah.
It really would be nice. I mean, when the construction gets done there, it'd be nice to do something. It is really hard. It's maintenance. It's hard for maintenance. We have to go way back out to the, and all the way back around. So we talked about it. We haven't had any definite conversations on it, and not with the architect or anything, but I don't think it has to be the project, but
No, and that,
Yeah.
and that's good. The only thing that, would look at is if you're to put a hydrant back there,
Mhm.
on that north or it would be the east side of the building. With the expansion of the second, and actually after the training and the discussion, that's when it kind of brought up as now we're getting that much farther away from the hydrant and now we're gonna have to be blocking more. I don't remember if there was a
So,
hydrant brought.
Yeah, so there's a
brought there.
hydrant on that far, it would be on the far corner.
Okay,
So-
I couldn't remember, we couldn't remember, because Terry and I had talked about it.
Mhm.
And I said, I don't remember if there was gonna be a hydrant put on that
Far corner.
or brought to that for the east side of that
So
building.
right now, what do you have to do there by the mailboxes? You have to go through those.
We'd have to go
doors and
through
out
the
back,
building.
just run your hose through.
Yeah, and the farther you get away from the hose, now you're having to bump pressure up on the trucks to get it that much farther. We're just pulling that much farther away from the hydrants and.
So there would be a hydrant on the far end of the building, but also I think there's like you have a hookup on the front.
Yeah.
Two places there would be on the front of that building.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
like in
for
center.
the sprinkler.
Yeah, for the sprinkler.
Sprinkler system.
And then
yeah.
the hydrant would be way on the end.
Okay, yeah, as long as we have somewhere we can pull, I just couldn't remember if there was gonna be a hydrant there or not.
Once that addition goes on, you won't be able to pull hose through that doorway.
Yeah. And that was and mainly getting that access to that east side of the building is, and that was, I didn't know if Terry talked with you before he went on vacation or not, so I never see you, so I'll bring it up.
We talked, it was brought up at the meeting in January when we had that
Okay.
meeting when there was here.
Yeah.
And it was someone in the group brought it up at that time and said, would be nice to have a road behind that building, behind it. And it would be, I don't know where that pond is. You know, I don't know how, how much room there is to get past that.
And like even for now, even if we didn't put if you didn't put an axe or a road there, but just trim some of the branches or the trees. I know a few of those trees are going to come down during the construction, but it'd be just something where you could get a truck back there.
Well, that's a positive that came out of the drill.
Yeah.
Something was thought of that we never thought of.
Yeah.
It sounded like the drill went.
It went really good. I mean, there was there was 4 fire departments?
5 total fire departments.
5 that you had? Okay.
Four
Yeah.
departments.
4 departments.
Menahga, Sabika, Wolf Lake, and Park Rapids.
Wadena was there.
No,
They were?
no.
There's
Oh.
4.
Departments. Those are the 4 primary, or the 3 primary are mutual aid.
Yeah.
Initially, if we need more, we're gonna start going Wadena, and moving out from there, but let's knock on wood, we never have
Like
to.
13 trucks or something.
Yeah,
About 53 or so I counted
yeah.
firemen there. There was first responders and other, but
Ambulance and if there was ever something, Ron would be getting pulled in to monitor the tower. So we didn't, if this would ever happen, let's pray it never does. But so we have the well hydrant up by Becker Farms, just on the west side of Rock Solid, the construction company there. So we would primarily pull water from there, and we do the water shuffle. There's only probably 2 trucks that would be hooked to the city water, and that's it. Just because now we're pulling water from the rest of the city. So that's primarily was we were timing trucks from when they would dump here and go back and get filled and they come back. So we have a whole, when Terry gets back, we're gonna go through the whole thing and figure out times.
Yeah, and I mean, I think these are great considerations that we can use for our next big event that we do, right?
Yeah.
Is let's get more people involved. Yeah.
Yeah,
Preferably. That was cool.
Summer. It was the reason why it was done, honestly, was because we had a survey coming up and we had to have 2 trainings done prior to, and we missed it because this had been planned.
This
for a
whole
while.
thing, it was originally when Laura brought it, it was going to be in May of last year, 25.
Yeah.
But just with schedules, her getting busy of everything.
And you guys switched chiefs,
Yeah.
right? Terry came on and there was a switch in there.
Yeah.
And it was going to be like October But I don't remember then, and then it was like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
and the reason why in May you wanted to be like, have more conversation, what do we really need, or what, you know, you wanted to talk about it more, but it just so happened, but that's why it was like, I mean, we need to have it done because our survey's coming up in March. And we didn't quite make it. They came early, but that's all right. I mean, I don't know if they accepted the drill or not, but it's just one of those things. It was good.
It was, and
it's really good.
I mean, a fire is gonna happen. I mean, it could happen anytime, but with the winter time,
That's where most.
it's gonna be majority of it and,
Yeah. So it was cool, but it was some of our residents have said, oh yeah, this should be like, you need to talk to the news. You need to have this. I'm like, well, Brett sent a pretty good picture. I like the latter picture. I mean, there's a couple, but I mean, it's like, well, I don't know if it's really news, but it's good. It's okay, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, someone else could do that and give them the story.
Yeah, but no, it was good, and we found stuff on the fire department side that we need to work on better, and so it worked out great. You know, we'd rather have it done on a training scenario than a live scenario, and we found out our radios, for being a wood structure, they don't work the greatest in there even, so we
found out why our radios never work,
That
right?
is our biggest population in one building.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah.
So, but so now we're changing it up where when we go to a larger structure, we knew that the radios didn't work in the school, so we knew that. But with being a wood structure, we found out that the radios don't work in there.
As kind of a former Tomo guy, what frequency are you guys?
Well, it's an 800 megahertz.
So it's UHF, right? Ultra high frequency. Those should work.
We probably need a 2.4.
So what we found out is we're gonna have to go to. We can change them.
I mean,
They're called a scene of action channel. So then it's just radio to radio.
Yeah,
So
line of
these
sight.
they're going from the portable radio to the satellite or a tower and then back.
Okay.
And so somewhere in there, it's getting.
Yeah,
so
totally.
They turn into a $7,000 walkie-talkie.
Yep.
So that's what we found out is we're gonna have to do
All
there.
right, so that's good information.
Yeah.
We learned stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, with those things, and I go to a conference tomorrow, and I'm meeting with the architects in the cities. When I go tomorrow evening, I get there about 4:30, and then we're at the St. Paul Hotel. They'll just have a room there and show us the like some of the finishes, which is they were glad because, well, for one, they don't have to come here, and then we can just see them there. So yeah, so worked out for that timing wise. So
Anybody have anything for Laura? Otherwise,
Take a motion for the report and financials.
yeah, what do I do? Man?
Yeah, no, I thought I had one. I it's sitting there.
Anyway, take a motion to approve the report, Laura's report on financial for Greenwood County.
So moved.
Steve? You get a second?
Second.
Is that Darwin?
Yeah.
Yep. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
All right.
Carried 5-0. Hey, we don't have any unfinished business.
I'm going to.
So at this point, we will go into closed session for labor negotiation strategy. City council will enter into a closed session pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D-.03 to discuss labor negotiation strategy related to ongoing collaborative bargaining negotiations with Teamsters Local 346. The session is necessary to protect the city's bargaining position. That is going into closed session at 8:24.
We come back on after.
We usually don't. I'll make a statement, but we usually don't get back on that because it takes too long to. For it to
I was just gonna have to see if
get back up.
he was gonna do his. Yeah, otherwise that training went good. It was good. We knew where we can park and.
All right, we're gonna cut the stream real quick and go from there. Thank you everyone that attended tonight. We will see you next time. We are going to adjourn off stream. There will be a statement made after the closed session in regard to the outcome. That statement will be on the minutes. They will be in the consent agenda for the March 9th meeting. Thank you and have a good night.